Hello and welcome back to another video. In this problem, we're told a cell phone plan has a basic charge of $35 a month. The plan includes 400 free minutes and charges 10 cents for each additional minute of usage. And we're asked to write the monthly cost C as a function of the number x of minutes used, and graph C as a function of x for 10 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 600. So to come up with this function, I'm going to write it in words, and then we're going to convert that into variables and numbers and so on. So let's see, we're looking for the total monthly cost. This can be broken down into the basic charge, which you have to pay no matter what, plus the minute fees. I don't know a better way to call it, the amount you're charged for actually using your cell phone. So the monthly cost we're going to have represented by C, and this is equal to our basic charge of $35 a month is not changing, so that's just 35, plus 10 cents for each additional minute of usage. So this isn't exactly 0.1, 10 cents, right? $0.1 times x, the number of minutes used. We have to take into account that we get 400 free minutes. So let's just say $0.1 per minute times the total minutes minus the free minutes. What this parentheses is going to give you is the minutes that you have to pay for. So you have 35 plus 0.1 times the total minutes is x, that's just the number of minutes used, minus the free minutes, 400, and x minus 400 gives you whatever you have left. So C is equal to 35 plus distributing 0.1x minus 0.1 times 400 is 40. This therefore equals 0.1x plus 35 minus 40 is minus 5. So, what is the domain of this function? This is applicable when we have more than 400 minutes, or equal to 400 minutes, in which case we are measuring the difference in minutes times 0.1 plus 35. If so x is greater than or equal to 400. If the charge to the account is less than 400 minutes, well, if we said, let's say this is 300, 300 minus 400 is negative 100. Negative 100 times 0.1 is negative 10. So therefore, you would have negative $10 being paid for 300 minutes of usage. And that's not exactly what's happening here. The 0.1x minus 40 that we're getting right here, this only applies when we have more than or equal to 400 minutes. If there's less than 400 minutes, this is just 0, right? Since you only have C is equal to 35, you only have the basic charge for those 400 free minutes. If you don't use them, you don't get money back. So it's only C is equal to 35 for if x is less than 400. So therefore, C is equal to, we are looking for 0 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 600. We're looking for that range. C is equal to 35 for 0 to 400, 0 inclusive, 400 exclusive, not including 400. It doesn't matter whether we include 400 or not. It's just here, 400 is less than or equal to x. We can't have this be equal and this be equal. So you just have to pick one. So this is equal to 0.1x minus 5. And this is your function. Go up to 600 because that's the domain we're looking at. This is your function for this particular cell phone plan in terms of the minutes used from 0 minutes to 600 minutes. your function c. Now we can just graph it. Doesn't have to be perfect, but if we do on the x-axis, we're gonna have minutes used, so we can do 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600. And from this, we can say, okay, say this is 35, and this is c over x. From 0 to 400, we have just a constant 35. And here we have a line 0.1x minus 5. So remember that this value is equal to this value at 400, which makes sense. Your phone bill isn't just going to jump like $500 just because you're going from 400 minutes to 401 minute. It's only going to go up 10 cents. So therefore, these two meet here, so we don't have to try and coordinate with a y-intercept over here and a very slight slope. What we can just say is, okay, it meets here and it has a slope of 0.1, so it's going to look something like this. Very, very shallow slope. And that's going to put you off at 600 right here. And so you see why we had to clarify that 35 is the function on this range. It's not just this function for the entire way through, because eventually this would become negative, and the phone company is not going to give you money back if you're not using all your minutes, right? They're only going to charge you 35, yes, but it's not going to be less than 35 if you use, let's say, 200 minutes. It's not going to put you here. If you don't use any minutes, it's not going to be negative money, right? So that's why we had to include two different functions here to represent this cell phone plan.